But let us begin with Charlie Sheen speaking out live about the removal of his twin boys from his home. We're going to hear from him in a moment. But first, NBC's Jeff Rawson has the very latest. Jeff, good morning to you.
Hi, Meredith. Good morning to you. But Charlie Sheen called us last night and told us that police had just come to his house in the darkness of night with representatives from Brooke Mueller's camp, his estranged wife, and took his children, Max and Bob, who turned 2 in just a couple of weeks, out of the house, removed them. They had been staying with Charlie Sheen. The LAPD now confirms for NBC News that did happen without incident. The kids were removed pursuant to a court order that Brooke Mueller had gotten in an LA County courtroom just yesterday, claiming that the kids should not be raised in that kind of environment with Charlie's goddesses and what else is going on inside of the house. Again, as you mentioned, Meredith, Charlie Sheen is here for an exclusive live interview. We'll get his reaction to that in just a moment. But first, a look behind closed doors. For Charlie Sheen, this was the perfect place to raise his twin boys, inside his Los Angeles mansion with the 2 women he calls his goddesses.
We run errands, we eat, we play with the kids.
We think of fun plans and execute them.
Yeah, we watch movies. I watch a lot of 2.5 Men.
Do you love his kids? I mean, do you love...
Are you kidding?
I was just up there with him right now. Bob was like, I didn't want to put him down. I'm like, they're calling you. I'm like, I don't want to put him down. And he's like, can I come? He's like, okay. He's like, bye. Saying bye to the...
No, Bob gets it. If you say Dad's busy, he goes, okay, Dad busy. You know, he knows. He knows, and he's fine with it.
Is this pretty normal? I mean, you have pictures of the kids on the fridge.
I mean, aside from the days when we sit there with big old palm fronds and fan.
Hey, wait a minute. They'll run with that. They'll run with that.
I'm joking.
The goddesses now live with Charlie. One is a former porn star, the other a model. Do the goddesses help raise your kids? Are they with your kids? Do they love your children?
Yeah, if I can't be there, they're there, and it's like everybody helps out. And I don't know, it's just there's nothing broken here.
But late Tuesday night, officers arrived at his home and removed his boys, Max and Bob, reportedly after Sheen's estranged wife, Brooke Mueller, the boys' mother, who's also battled drug abuse, filed for a restraining order in court, concerned about her children's well-being. You told me you want to rededicate yourself now to your kids, to being a dad.
Sure.
Are you embarrassed that your children will read about this one day?
God, no. It's talk about an education. And then like this, and then that's the guy, and he's our dad, and we can get all the answers and the truth. Wow, winning. It's how you perceive it.
Charlie Sheen joins us now for an exclusive live interview along with his lawyer, Mark Rose. Thanks to both of you for joining us. Good to see you.
Jeff, thank you.
Well, let's start with the very beginning. What exactly happened at your house last night? You're at home. The boys were awake or asleep?
They were just being put to bed, and my assistant Rick informed me that the police were on their way down to issue a restraining order. And I thought, okay, we can deal with that. I got you on the phone, got my lawyer on the phone. And then it was revealed once I opened the door that they were there to remove Bob and Max. So, you know, I've professed in this last few weeks last few days rather, to not deal in come from a place of panic, ego, emotion, any of that. So I stayed very calm and focused, and, somebody badges you, they win in that moment. And it just seemed odd, though. There were other people there that didn't really seem qualified to carry out such an operation.
Like who?
I don't. A couple of gentlemen that wouldn't identify themselves, wouldn't show any ID, wouldn't just looked like they were more from what we found out later, the rehab facility than the actual law enforcement. And so I didn't push it because I'm not into resisting the law, and just had to surrender to it, knowing that this is now the challenge I'm claimed to be looking for, and I'm more than willing to take on this task. If anybody thought my focus was directed in a radical capacity, that's going to seem like child's play.
So they went upstairs. I mean, who went and got the children, and how did they take them out of the house?
I did, and Emma and Laura, the nannies. And we just very calmly, and we videotaped the whole thing just so there was nobody could claim otherwise. Right? You've seen the video; it was all very even and direct. And they didn't have car seats, so I provided them. And I said, "I love you." And I said, "Don't say goodbye. Don't say goodbye. Say see you later." And later is, as we believe, to be very soon.
sitting here right now, hours after this happened, do you know where your children are?
I do
at
not.
This moment?
I do not. It's a really good question. It's a really good point. Yeah, and isn't there some legal protection or some law that should inform the father of where his children are being removed and delivered to?
You or any other father has the right to know where your children are. The silence by Brooke's attorneys is very conspicuous.
Yeah.
Did you say to them, did you say to those police officers, A, where are you from, and B, where are you taking my children, before I just hand them over to you?
I stupidly, this is on me, I assumed they were going back to the house that they've been living in with Brooke when they're not with me. And I think we got reports last night they were at a hotel in Santa Monica somewhere. I mean, at this moment, on live television, I do not know where my children are, but I'm not panicking. This is not about emotion, it's not about ego, it's just about getting very focused and getting very much in touch with what I have to do to complete the task of bringing these two beautiful young men back to the home that they deserve to be raised in. There's nothing, there's more love, compassion, support, childcare, and everything else you could possibly want for a child in this lovely home. It's not a house, it's a home right down that hill.
According to TMZ, and they posted this overnight, Brooke went to court yesterday and told the judge that you had threatened her recently, and that's why she filed this court order. And she says you told her, I will cut your head off, put it in a box, and send it to your mom.
It's colorful.
Did you say that?
No, I did not, but that's a good one, I guess. I mean, I guess if you spend enough time around me, you can formulate things and make them sound like it could have come from my mouth, but you could do that watching reruns.
A lot of people watched that video that we aired on the Today Show yesterday morning when we were in the house with your two girlfriends, the goddesses.
Yes.
And said to themselves, you know what, maybe two young boys shouldn't be raised in this kind of environment, you know, with women who they're just meeting. How do you respond to that? How do you respond to the critics, and clearly your estranged wife who agrees, who doesn't think they should be raised there?
I invite anybody at this point to come in and just observe. If it's a court-appointed monitor, if it's somebody from her legal team, if it's her, if it's you with a camera, there's nothing to hide. And as I said, there's nothing but love and compassion and absolute support for these amazing children.
Obviously.
And I'm going to go ahead and say that. You know, that regardless of what people offer in the form of judgment or opinion, based on preconceived whatever, it's 100,000 times better than what's going to be delivered or offered in her house.
Will you sit here today and say you're willing to go to the negotiating table with Brooke Mueller? I mean, I'm sure your level of anger is through the roof right now, but are you willing to sit down and do this for the children?
Absolutely.
And work this out?
And had I received a phone call, had you received a phone call, we would have been willing to play ball and say, absolutely, this is fine. And in fact, I was going to call her because she'd been requesting a 2-hour visit, asking Lourdes, the weekend nanny, to bring them somewhere. And I had rejected it because I knew that unlike myself, that her drug test would not be clean.
In fact, when we were aware that Brooke had gone to the police and the police took no action, we were concerned because it was Charlie's court-ordered time with the children, and I attempted to contact Brooke's attorneys, but no one returned a phone call.
Is this normal in your experience? I mean, is this something that...
It's
is there usually an event that happens that would lead police to come to a house at night?
Well, the event being the issuing by the court of an order, but it's atypical for a court to issue an order with no notice whatsoever to the other side. Oftentimes, courts will do that in abundance of caution, and then we just have to figure out what we do next. So
what's next? As Charlie's lawyer, how are you going to try to get these children back? What's your next move?
I don't want to show my hand, but we're going to evaluate what the allegations are, figure out where we can get not just Charlie's word against Brooks, but where we can get other people to verify, independent witnesses to verify the accuracy or inaccuracy of statements. It's interesting, though, because it just rehashes a lot of old stuff. It's unfortunate that they chose to go this route instead of communicating. But we're always willing to sit down and try to work something out.
Absolutely.
Is there anything you want to say to Brooke, who may be watching right now? Maybe your only chance to talk to her, considering there's a restraining order.
Yeah, I know. I understand. I mean, is that violating it through live television? Is that in the restraining order? Those things get pretty creative these days.
Well, there's no order preventing you from there's only an order preventing you from contacting her, but you never want anything twisted.
Yeah. Brooke, I'm sorry that you felt this had to be done in this way, but this does not display any responsible parenting in anything that I'm familiar with, and I think that cooler and smarter, leveler heads can prevail, and I urge you to reach out to me and immediately, if not sooner, and tell me where our sons are.
and we'll leave it there with the children. I want to move on to your legal battle with CBS. That other thing happening in your life. You've been out of work now for about a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
And obviously the future of the show is in jeopardy at this point.
Sure.
CBS and Warner Brothers haven't said much, only that you lost your job this season because of your conduct and your statements and your behavior.
Sure.
First of all, your lawyer has sent a letter to them demanding that you get paid for all 8 episodes they canceled this season. And for the first time, since this really happened, Les Moonves, the president and CEO of CBS, spoke out at a private investor conference. We have the sound from that. There was audio rolling, so let's take a listen. And I'm not sure if you've heard it. Let's take a listen.
Doing 8 less originals saves us quite a bit of money. I'm not saying long term I want this to go on or it's great, but the repeat last night actually was the 4th highest rated show of the night. He's on the air quite a bit these days. I wish he would have worked this hard to promote himself for an Emmy. I hope it's back. We'll see.
And so Les Moonves is basically saying CBS is just fine without Charlie Sheen right now, in the short term at least.
Well, I don't know if I would paraphrase it like that.
How do you take that?
I mean, it was a very intelligent spin. I mean, he's a brilliant businessman. Look where he is. Look who he got, and it's you have to be nominated first to go out and launch a campaign. So just a little detail. I thought the joke was funny though. It was a good joke. It was in good spirits. But nothing has changed on this end, and I thought getting the crew paid for 4 was a step in the right direction. They're halfway there.
Warner Brothers has agreed to pay the crew for 4 episodes. You want to pay it for all 8, though?
Well, yeah, that's the only way that it'll be completed, and then the rest of my cast, and then myself, in that order. And until that happens, there's really nothing to talk about.
Are you ready?
Then we can open up a dialogue for the future of season 9 and the rest of it.
Are you ready to go back to work today? I mean, it's obviously going to be a tense set. You have Chuck Lorre, who you've had this war of words with over the radio and on television. Can you work with him again? I mean, he is the co-creator. He is the executive producer.
It's up to him. I mean, I at this point in the game, I can't even get a phone call returned. I can't even get a phone call on in a live open forum.
You want Chuck to call you?
Well, yeah, just something, anything. Even if he just calls and hears my voice and hangs up really quick.
Why don't you call him?
I deleted his number from my phone.
Why? Out of anger?
Nah, just it was a recommendation from this guy. I don't know. No, it's I've issued my questions through you, and I was very even and direct and in no uncertain terms. I've requested some interaction in other live forums, rhymes with CNN. I've made it very clear what where I stand and why I stand here. And it's just starting to feel like they're just hiding based on nothing. And I'm not trying to insult anybody, but I'm as confused as everybody here and all of my beautiful and perfect fans.
Great. Charlie Sheen, Mark Gross, thank you so much for joining us. And actually, Charlie, Meredith Vieira back in New York actually has a quick question for you. If you don't mind.
Go for it, Meredith.
Go for it, Meredith.
Yeah, hey, Jeff, Charlie, thank you very much.
Is this the $1 million question?
Maybe if you give me that final answer I'm looking for. Charlie, I want to go back to your kids, obviously. You're very upset about your boys. Any message you want to deliver to them?
Bob, Max, it's Dada. I will see you very soon. You're right here.
All right, Charlie, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Mark Gross.
Thank you, Meredith.
Thank you.
Thank you, sweetie.
And very quickly to Mark, do you plan to go to court today to get this undone, this restraining order?
We will not be in court today.
In the near
Why not? Why not go to court today?
Because unlike Brooks' attorneys, anything we do will be with notice. And so the earliest we could therefore be in court would be tomorrow. We're going to weigh our options, whether it be tomorrow, Friday, or sometime else soon, we'll be there. Without
tipping your hand fully, what would be your message to the judge about why these children should be returned to Charlie? And how long were you supposed to have them on this visitation?
Till Thursday at what time?
Thursday at 10. His custody time would have ended today at 10.
Got it.
The message essentially would be there isn't even an allegation that Charlie has a danger to the children, harmed the children, or threatened the children, which is why I'm so surprised by the issuance of this order.
Okay. Thank you very much. Meredith, back to you.
All right, Jeff, thank you so much. And again, our thanks to Charlie Sheen and Mark Gross as well.